Hi guys, Dogger here with a new video, and this video will be talking about the Miss Pandaria Classic population around arenas and RPGs. And the opinion that I have is really positive. Now, I'm not going to clickbait it. The truth is that I think a lot of the stuff that classic servers are doing is really good and would be a fine thing if you're like implementing it onto retail. The truth is, like, everything is like percentile based. Now you can say they do that because the population is a bit lower it is lower than retail, which is most likely the truth. Like, I think Miss Pandaria has lower population, but it's higher engagement right now, at least for 2s, 3s, and I would say even RPGs. The truth is, if you want to go do 2v2, you would get glad way sooner than on retail, because on retail, if you want to get glad, you have to be 2.4k, and that's elite, and you need to do 50 wins or 100 wins. I don't remember how many wins you need to do that in 2v2 or 2v3. And in solo shuffle, if you want to get legends, you want to win I think 50 rounds or 100 rounds above 2.4k. I don't remember that as well, because it has been, I think, 2 seasons that I didn't play retail, basically. But you have then duelist at 2k, which is 2.1k on retail, and if you want to get 1.8k, which is rival, you have to get 1.7k on classic. So it means that realistically it is way more attainable. Well, is it? I don't know. I feel like it's more attainable to do so in Miss Pandaria than in retail, but the learning curve is a bit higher, because when you do a mistake, it is it is really a loss. Like, if you do a mistake, it's over. While in retail, you have a lot of the defensives that a lot of classes have that can actually like take you back to a winning spot in the matchup. But that's except for social shuffle. Social shuffle is really like, if you do a mistake, often you lose the round. Like especially as a healer, because the DPS don't really like think too much, and vice versa as well. If you're as a DPS and you use every single defensive, and the healer doesn't use any defenses on you, then you're also going to lose. But that's besides the point. What I wanted to discuss is like the overall pop is really healthy for a classic server. In my opinion, it is way better right now than on Cataclysm. And from what I've seen is that you do have a lot of games going on, and same for like PvP guilds going on. Like, a lot of the PvP guilds are like full and complete and need like to build a second guild to have like people join, and people are like doing 2s with like as a double DPS or with a healer, and you have a lot of healers like queuing because they feel good about healing. And that's the truth. In Miss Pandaria, healing really is a feels good role where you have high impact. Like, a resto druid is really busted, everyone knows that. But since it is really busted, people are like more able to play it because it has an offensive capacity, and also a very defining capacity to carry games. You could also say fistweavers, which is mistweavers, but like on classic is a bit different on retail, but they can fistweave and they can also make you win games. You could also play as a holy priest, like for example Hydra does, and it does very well as well. Now obviously you have some healers that are not like very optimal but viable. For example, resto shamans and holy paladins, or even disc priests. But overall, if you want to play a healer, you have probably already made up your mind on what spec you're playing, and you yourself, you can maybe tell you like why you're playing healer as in Miss Pandaria, and maybe you're not healing in retail. Personally, I don't like healing in retail compared to Miss Pandaria for a lot of reasons. I think, especially since solo shuffle is a thing. Let's talk about solo shuffle. I think you are punished playing healer. You are playing for the happiness of DPSers instead of like your own happiness. You are like always playing with a -1 pretty much. What do I mean is, like, if you're drawing, it is really just a waste of time, or you even lose MMR, which really sucks. because again, if you draw, you should never lose MMR. You should maybe like lose a bit of CR to bring it back to the MMR, but that's the only thing I would accept. Never the MMR dropping, because that, like, you never really choose your lobby. You actually never choose your lobby, so why are you punished about something that is like made by the system? If it's not like a fair MMR, which is like an equalized MMR, then you should not lose. Like, you should definitely not lose MMR based on what is being done by a computer. And also, I feel like you don't really have high impact in Soul Shuffle. In twos, you have high impact, but twos is such a meaningless bracket in retail because you cannot get Glad. You can get Malevolent Gladiator if you are doing twos in MoP. You can get the rank 1 if you want to. In 3v3, the rank 1 cutoff is actually like 2.6k, which is very high. So it means that, like, actually the amount of people playing 3v3 is very high for this season. If you compare it to Cataclysm, it feels like this season is really alive. And then you have Glad at 2.4k, Duelist at 2.2k. It is a bit higher than on retail, but keep in mind, if it is higher, it is because there's a lot of people queuing up and getting to those ranks higher and higher. So you can get to that MMR point or CR point very easily. So that's again, easily, I think easy is like a like subjective thing. I think you can get to that point if you have like a team that is actually playing together and getting better and better. I think a lot of people are staying at lower MMR because they are not queuing up enough, or they're not really playing around their win conditions enough to actually climb to that point. I'm going to try to get to Glad for a 2v2 at least, and 3v3 might be good. And maybe the rank 1 will be probably not going to happen for me, but if it does, why not? And the RPG scene is very, very alive. Now, that's something that is really contradicting retail. RPGs in MoP is like something that is very, it's not even niche. People do RPGs because either they're like farming conch, or they are actually trying to get a rating, and they have like a team going on. Now, I must say, like, in RPGs, the culture behind it is very strong. I feel like people really do love their RPGs. Now, is there some win trading going on? I actually don't know. I need to play at that high MMR to actually feel that. But you can definitely get hero of the faction, so hero of the horde or hero of the alliance. If you have like a good team going on, you can get to that point. And a lot of the people are stopping at rival and duelist. Like, those are like the YOLO wins often. They stop at, like, for example, the first cap, or they win at the first cap. The MMR is really, like, it jumps really fast. And I personally prefer the RPG environment from classic expansions because the necessity to have like one tank is not big. Like, it actually is like non-present. You don't get like a garden druid or like a adventures demon hunter like in retail. And since the whole culture around RPGs is really big, finding a team is not hard. Just need to find a good guild that is actually running multiple teams. For example, Champion Circle or Pro Pipe PvP just runs multiple teams every weekend, and they don't drop games, like. So I personally really love the culture behind it, and I don't know how it comes that it lost its like thing in NA, like in retail, because it's not because of solo queue RPGs, because that's already, like, in Dragonflight it was already dead. It's not like it was very alive. I think the reward structure is just not there for retail to be like something that exists in its own system. Yeah, I think healers being that strong on retail compared to Miss Pandaria. I think in Miss Pandaria healers are really strong, but in retail, like in BGs, it is really, really strong. It just deters from people playing like that version of PvP. So I don't know. But overall, I think if you want to like climb on Miss Pandaria, it is really doable. Like, I'm talking about EU, but you could say the same for US. I think US, the truth is, if you're from America, I understand why you would think like it is like a dead bracket or dead version of the game, because there are just simply less players on US. I don't know how it comes that US players are like less able to play in Miss Pandaria. Maybe they don't want to. That's possible, first of all. But also, I think, like US, you get duelists at 1.9k, by the way. So, I don't know. I just think just less players. Are they less interested about Classic? It could be. Because in retail you have more like US players than EU for some reason. It should not be, because in EU you have more players in total normally, but it's not the case. So I think EU is just really Classic heavy compared to US in a lot of in a lot of ways. So anyways, that was a quick update about Miss Pandaria Classic PvP. I'll be trying to do retail season 3, so I already said that I'll try to do so. I don't know on what class I'm going to do play. I'll be trying to make guides again. I'm going to try to make tier lists again on retail. Playing a bit of 2s, 3s, maybe soul shuffle, depends on the queue times. Try to be a bit more positive. But the truth is, I'll never do a video. I think I'm like a hypocrite. So if I feel like the game is not good, or the queue times are too big, or that the situation is too dead, I'll be calling it out. It is what it is. If it's really good, I'm also going to call it out, because again, I'm someone that wants it to thrive. I want it to be very good, because it makes me make more content, which automatically will make me thrive more on YouTube. But also, I like to play my stuff, so if it's fun to play, I'll be doing that. If it's not fun, it feels like it's a job and not a hobby anymore, I'll be calling it out as well. So anyways, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.